Welcome back to B for Crypto, and yes, in this video we're going to find out, are we going to break this very important trend line and dump all the way back down to the support of this broadening wedge, or are we going to see that Bitcoin will break to this major resistance and that we're going to reach the 25,000 US dollars in the immediate short term? We're going to find out what we could expect, and at the end of the video I'm going to show you a very interesting interview with Michael Saylor, why Bitcoin could change the entire world. So guys, if you want to find out more, smash up the like button and subscribe, and most importantly activate the bell so that you always get notified when I upload a new video. And guys, we're going to start directly on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin, and yes, like I told you, we have to hold this very important trend line, which is round about the levels of 23,400 US dollars. We could see we had a fake out underneath this trend line, but guys, at the moment we can see that yes, it looks quite bearish and we have got this major rejection in these areas. But guys, we have to look at the overall trend, and yes, we could see that Bitcoin is still forming higher lows, and this is quite bullish. But guys, if we're going to coil up from this trend line, we could expect an explosive move towards the upside. Maybe a fake out and come then all the way back down to retest this area and hold it as support. But guys, we're going to find out what is going to be the worst case scenario for Bitcoin. And guys, this means that we have to act accordingly. If we're going to see that the price of Bitcoin will stay above this trend line, we could trade the break of this horizontal trend line, and that we're going to see that the price movement will see an explosive move even higher. But guys, if we're going to break this very important trend line, our first price target would be all the way back down at the 22,560 US dollar level. And guys, this level we have to hold for Bitcoin, because if we're going to break this level, we could come all the way back down, reaching this very important trend line, which is round about the levels of 21,600 US dollar for Bitcoin. But guys, overall, Bitcoin is here to stay, and we're going to see that the price of Bitcoin will go even higher. Because yes guys, we had this major run towards the upside and we went up so high. And this means that Bitcoin has to consolidate, and guys, this is not going to be a worst case scenario. And even if we would dump all the way back down to the 20,000 US dollar level, this would be still a bullish move guys, because yes, we went up so high so quick. Let's go over to the daily chart. Before we're going to do that, go over to cryptoclothing.com and check out the awesome crypto clothing and be prepared for the next bull run. So yes, on the daily chart we can see for Bitcoin we are still over the 13 EMA, and that is quite bullish guys. If we're going to stay above the 13 EMA, I could expect that we're going to see this pump very soon. But guys, if we're going to close underneath the 13 EMA with a daily candle, we could expect that we're going to get this retest in these regions. But guys, if we look at the daily chart and if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that even the dump all the way to these regions of 21,600 US dollars would still be a higher low for Bitcoin. And that's why guys, we are still early and we are so close to the bottom, closer to the bottom as we are to the top. So guys, let's go over to Twitter. In this interview of Michael Saylor, he explains why Bitcoin is changing the entire world. So guys, I want you to take 3 minutes of your time to watch this interview of Michael Saylor explaining why Bitcoin is changing the entire world. And guys, we're going to see each other in the next video. If you like this content, smash up the like button and subscribe. And most importantly, you have to be for crypto. And guys, enjoy the interview.
He feels that Bitcoin is an instrument of economic empowerment for billions of people that are unbanked and have no property rights in the world. If you want to give an incorruptible bank to 8 billion people on the planet, that's the same as asking the question, how do you give a full education through PhD to 8 billion people on the planet? And the answer is a digital version of the 20th century thing running on a mobile phone. Mm-hmm. And Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace. It's run by incorruptible software, and it's for everybody on Earth. So I think when Jack looks at it, he's very sensitive to the plight of everybody in Africa. If you look at Africans, right, like you're going to give them banks. You're not going to put a bank branch on every corner. That's an obscene waste of energy. Mm-hmm. You're not going to run copper wires across the continent. That's an obscene waste of energy. You're not going to give them gold, and so how are you going to provide people with a decent life? The metaphor I think is relevant here. The biological metaphor, Lex, is type 1 diabetic. If you're a type 1 diabetic, you can't form fat. And if you can't form fat, then you can't store excess energy. So that means that, I mean, fat is the ultimate organic battery. And if you've got 30 pounds of it, you can go 60 days without eating. But if you can't generate insulin, you can't form fat cells. And if you can't form fat cells and store energy, then you can eat yourself to death. I mean, you will eat and you will die. You'll starve to death. So the lack of property rights is like being a type 1 diabetic. And so if you look at most people everywhere in the world, they don't have property rights, they don't have effective bank, and their currency is broken. Like what are the two things that in theory would serve as the equivalent of an organic battery or an economic battery to civilization? It would be, I have a currency which holds its value and I can store it in a bank. So a risk-free currency derivative. I pay you your money, you take your life savings, you put it in a bank, you save up for your retirement, you'll live happily ever after. That's the American dream, right? That's the idyllic situation. The real situation is there are no banks. You can't get a bank account. So I give you your pay in currency, and then I double the supply and I give it to my cousin, or I give it to whatever cause I want, or I use it to buy weapons. And then you find a loaf of bread costs triple next month is what it cost, and your life savings is worthless. And so in that environment, everybody's ripped back to Stone Age barter. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that, even Stone Age barter, is you're going to carry your life savings on your back. And what happens when the guy with a machine gun points it at your head and just takes your life savings? So I think from Jack's point of view, he thinks that life is, this is maybe too strong, but these are my words, life is hopeless for a lot of people, and Bitcoin is hope, right? Because it gives everyone an engineered monetary asset that's a bearer instrument, and it gives them a bank on their mobile phone, and they don't have to trust their government or another counterparty with their life force.